All right, fellas, we are live.
Welcome to Saturday Night Sweat. We're a Circa Survivor show. We're going to get you ready for tomorrow's kickoff. We're going to talk a little Grandissimo. We're going to talk Circa Survivor strategy. We've got an awesome lineup of guests. Rachel Aria is going to join us later. Paulie Howard's going to join us later. We've got several past Circa contest champions on the show as well. The main thing that we're going to do tonight, though, is react live to the Circa Survivor selection counts that were just released by the wonderful folks over at Circa and VSiN just a few minutes ago. You can see them up on the screen now. I have with me Mike Buckmiller, David Baker, the man we call Derbify, Tony Gordon. Fellas, let's jump right into it because we're at the halfway point of this contest. We've been talking about Week 10 for the last couple weeks because we all recognize there's a bit of a choke point here. 20% of the field coming into this week had already used Denver, Buffalo, and Seattle. So we knew some people were going to be pushed into some uncomfortable situations. Mike Buckmiller, I'm going to start with you. What was your first reaction when you saw these numbers come out?
First reaction is, wow. I mean, here we are, Week 10, and the Panthers are the chalk. I mean, who had that on their bingo card? Not only the chalk in the main, but one took him in Grandissimo. I mean, talk about some faith there. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've been known to push the button on some tough spots, but Panthers here, 27.7%, a little rough. I was hoping for a little bit less on the Broncos, only because I burned one on them. Seattle and Bills, decent spots. Bears, 9%. Yeah, I think it played out the way we all thought it was, but would happen. But Panthers a little high for me.
And David, how about you? What are your big takeaways here?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is the Bills. I thought I'm not that surprised. The Panthers got steamed up a couple percent of what I thought, but I thought the Panthers, Broncos, and Bills would all be 22 to 24%. But it looks like there were enough people that wanted to save the Bills, and I guess they kind of pushed a couple percent to the Panthers, a couple percent to the Lions, and everybody else kind of fits in range with what I thought. So that's just my guess, is that the Bills kind of pushed maybe 3% that I thought would be on the Bills on the Panthers, and maybe a couple percent on the Lions. So yeah, that was kind of my takeaway from just the numbers. Everything else looks kind of in line with what I would think. I'm kind of surprised the Lions were up. But after, Mike and I both, tweeted about the Lions, it doesn't really surprise me that I guess it came in a little higher than I thought to.
Gotcha. And Derbify, we're going to talk about Grandissimo, where you still have an entry alive. Congratulations on that, by the way. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But if you can react to this, I guess we'll call it Circa Survivor Classic. What's your reaction to these numbers here?
I kind of have the same sentiments as these other two guys. I was surprised by this Panthers situation. I realize that the teams, a lot of these entries are having to go other routes with them using Denver and the Bills. But I mean, we got a team that went from a double-digit dog to a 5.5 point favorite, and it looks like there's about 4.9 million on it right now, right? Does that look about right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. And then you can go all the way over to the end there and look at the Jets, I guess. I don't know what somebody's over there thinking, but hopefully it's a play against. But, I did think there'd be a little more Bills action. I thought it would be almost maxed out with the percentage available. So, again, yeah, no surprise to me with the rest of the field, though. So.
And to your guys' point about the Panthers, a lot of people had to hit that button with the knowledge that Tet McMillan might be out. Panthers' number one receiver, their rookie. We heard today, just a couple hours ago, it's looking like he's actually going to play tomorrow, according to Adam Schefter. Mike Buckmiller, can you tell us where you landed this week, and how did you get there?
Yeah, I mean, we have, we had a rough week the last couple of weeks, and we're almost down to the felt. We had to play based on our path moving forward. We needed to play Denver in this spot. The way it ran out on that specific ticket. And then we had another ticket where it actually looks really, really good. And we just couldn't pass up the EV spot here with Detroit. And so, those are the two teams that we are on. We're happy to be alive with Denver. Oh my gosh. What a game. I mean, just just to sweat that out, incredible. We knew that there would be 20 to 25% on them, but it's just one of those tickets where you have to play it because the run out afterwards gets a lot better. So it's just the spot we had to play. But we really like the Lions this week. Redskins are a little Redskins. Commanders are like, I'll never not stop saying the Redskins. The Commanders are a little banged up at cornerback. We like that matchup there. We're hoping to get through, and we got a nice little path with that. So we'll see how it works.
David, you're of course still alive in Circa Survivor as well. Let us know where you landed and how you ended up there. And was it an easy decision or a tough decision?
Yeah. So basically, the entries that had the Broncos available played the Broncos. The ones that had the Bills played the Bills. And then I had one that didn't have Broncos, Bills, or Seahawks available. So that was kind of the point of conversation. I thought that Carolina would be mid-20s, like I said. So I thought that was a clear fade. You're getting a 5.5-point favorite as a 25% play. I mean, that's just a cardinal sin, I think. I mean, I can't think of a worse play that we've seen than playing Carolina this week. I do understand the value of your entry, but you just can't take a 60% or 60 whatever percent team that's at 27%. I mean, I want to have 7+ points there if I can at all avoid it. So I didn't have the Panthers available, didn't have the Broncos, didn't have the Bills. So it was kind of Bears or not to Bears. And I don't know, this spot just, even though I like the Bears in general, I think this spot is kind of stinky. It's kind of just like the Broncos. The Bears have won a lot of games in a row and kind of feeling themselves a young team. And then you get another team that kind of has nothing to lose, go out there. I thought this could be a look ahead for the Bears. So I didn't really feel that comfortable. I was pretty comfortable with the Chargers, to be honest. I wanted to play the Chargers. I knew they would come in at 1% or under 1%, but my partner couldn't quite get there. And so when we started looking at Bears, Chargers, Lions, as much as I really wanted to save the Lions, as much as he really wanted to save the Lions, we didn't feel comfortable enough with the Bears. He didn't feel comfortable enough with the Chargers, and I just thought Carolina was a terrible play. So it basically came down to the Lions, and we'll just figure out Christmas when we get to it. We've got plenty of teams for Thanksgiving. Christmas, not so much, but we got both sides of the Redskins Cowboys game. I'm with Mike. I'm going to say Redskins, and if it gets me canceled, oh well. But yeah, I mean, I got both sides of that, so we'll just figure that one out come Christmas. Probably get on whichever's the projected to be the least owned team, because it'll probably be a field goal game. So just kind of take the leverage there and figure it out at that point. Maybe hedge, maybe not. So that's kind of how we ended up, and that's kind of how we got there.
Before we transition to Derbify and talking about Grandissimo, I have one more question for Mike and David. We talked about how this week was a bit of a choke point. Did you find yourself in your selection process saying, man, I wish I still had X team. Wish I still had them available. Bummer. Well, who is that team, if so?
I mean, I'll start out. I mean, for me, the team that I would want, if I could have it, is Detroit, just because they're way lower owned. But if I had Detroit, to be honest, if I had Detroit and Buffalo on a card, I would play Buffalo 100 times out of 100. I just think that, what you're giving up in ownership. I understand Buffalo has a couple of spots, but the Lions have a couple of spots, and they have both holiday games, and they're so low owned or availability. I think after this week, it's going to be like 25% or something. And to have 2 holiday games with a 25% owned team is just a ticket that I wouldn't want to pass up if I felt comfortable with somebody else. And I would feel comfortable with the Bills. I feel very comfortable about that game. I know it's on the road. I know it's a division game, but I just really can't see Josh Allen and this team needing it, going in there, laying an egg. And they played the Dolphins pretty well over the last number of years since this current regime has been with the Dolphins. So I feel pretty comfortable in this spot with the Bills.
Mike, how about you quickly? Did you find yourself missing a team?
Yeah, for sure. We lost 60% of our remaining entries last week on the Packers in that spot. And on the majority of those tickets, we had the Bills. Obviously, on these tickets, we made sure that we had some Broncos and Lions available so that we could pivot to. But yeah, I mean, the Bills were our spot here in the choke point in Week 10. So bummer, we would rather have those and play them, and then we would spray the board here with a couple like we are right now with the Broncos and the and the Lions. But yeah, I would have liked to play the Bills this week,
Gotcha.
and especially now knowing they're at 14.8% ownership. Fantastic for Dave to be on that spot.
Absolutely. Nick, if you can pull up the Grandissimo numbers again, because I want to ask Derbify, where did you land? How did you get there? And was it a tough decision this week?
We landed on the Seahawks. We are the only one over there on that particular team this week. And if I could ask for a mulligan this week, I would like to do that to Jeffrey Benson, because this is just a tough week, man. I mean, we went around in circles, and we looked at the Panthers, we looked at obviously the Bears, we even went to the Chargers that David talked about. That was actually a strong lean for us going up into it. And we ended up landing on the Seahawks. We thought this was a week that they were going to come and perform at home. This team is, this is a crazy stat. They are fourth ever in DVOA through 8 games defensively. To 3 teams that are 8-0, and that would be the 91 Redskins, 81 Skins, 85 Bears, and the 07 Patriots. So, this is a historic defense that's playing, and I think that's where we put our money on, was this defense. We know it's going to be a close game versus we're playing great. He's moving the ball really well offensively, but they're coming off this upset on Monday night, and we thought it would be a good spot with short rest and this defense to take advantage. So
let me pop in here and tell you, Tony, congratulations to your team for getting on the Seahawks. Whether I think they're going to win or not, it's kind of irrelevant. You got a 7-point favorite as a single owner. Obviously, we know the results of the Broncos game, so you can't win it. But to be on a 7-point favorite as a solo when there's other people who are taking 4 and 5-point favorites, as much as I like the Chargers this week, like for you to be a solo on the Chargers or a solo on the Seahawks, however it plays out, you guys made the right call. And to be a solo on the Seahawks here is fantastic for you and your team. So, good luck to you guys there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, Tony. Following from afar and just looking at the run out of Grandissimo. Obviously, we're not in it, but I can't give it up. I still like to troll it and pay attention. And I felt last week wasn't a week to get cute. I thought that you were going to be separated from the field this week, whether you liked it or not. I guess the better question would be, sweating the Denver game with your group. Have you guys discussed hedge possibilities, and are you guys ready to act upon those? If a team like the Broncos went down, you felt like before we popped on here, you felt like 3 for sure, if not 4 would be on them. How would then you guys move forward from a strategic standpoint, now seeing that you would be isolated and in a chance to really, pick up some strong equity, and how would you guys move forward with that?
Honestly, yes. When we looked, when Denver played and it played out the way it is, obviously we were all on the edge of our seats hoping for the upset. But we kind of had an idea they were probably going to get through. But we were looking at the possibility of hedging once that came. We needed to see, clearly we knew there were going to be 3 or 4, which is going to bring it down to 8. And we knew there was probably going to be 4 or 5 on the Bills as well, right? So, we knew we were going to be on an island no matter what, Mike. When it came this week, we were in that kind of situation where we had run off the Bills and run off Denver, and knew that these other teams kind of had that in their pockets. So we knew that we were going to come in. 3 weeks ago we were looking at week 10, and most of us were looking at week 10 all year long, to be honest with you, right? So, but 3 weeks ago we dialed it in and knew that kind of we were going to be on an island, whether it would be Carolina, whether it was going to be Houston. We were looking at Houston a lot at first, and then once the quarterback situation fell off, we knew that wasn't going to be an option for us. So, again, we knew week 10 was going to be the kind of a difference maker, either a field dinner or at least put us on an island. And if we're blessed to get through here, we'll see where we can go from there. Mike, you made the great point. We didn't want to get tricky and get too cute last week, so we jumped on with it with the chalk, and then this week knowing that we were going to be on an island for the most part. Maybe have somebody else out there with a beach chair drinking a beer with us, but for the most part, we thought it was going to be us. Yeah. So.
Great stuff. This show's off to a good start. I hope folks are out there taking notes because we have sort of a star-studded cast tonight, dropping some knowledge. David, we're going to go ahead and let you go. I know you got some cards to play later on this evening, so thank you so much for joining us. Always great to have you, brother.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. And I'll be watching the rest of the show while I'm flinging some chips and cards and stuff like that. So good luck. And I don't think anybody here is on the Panthers or the Bears. So let's go Giants and Saints. Let's thin the field.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Good luck, buddy.
Later, boys. Bye.
Good luck.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in the Meatball Brothers. There we go. What's happening? Meatball Brother number 1, Meatball Brother number 2. We got Carson Williams, his second time on the show, and Jimmy Agnos' first appearance on Saturday Night Sweat. How's it going, fellas?
Going good. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, we're so glad to have you guys on. I'm so curious where you landed this week. We've talked so much about how Week 10 is so intriguing. Where did you guys land, and how'd you get there?
Yep. So we are already in the clubhouse with one of our picks left on Denver. So feeling good after getting knocked out one of our picks on the Packers last week with several people. But and our second pick ended up on Buffalo. And so that's what we got left. We would have had a third on Denver, but that was our Packer pick, and that was somewhat out of force. And we were left to choose really between, Denver, the Panthers, and the Bears. And likewise, we weren't willing to let that ride on either of those two teams this week. So.
Good stuff. Jimmy, was there any tension in terms of coming up with this decision, or was this week somewhat straightforward for you guys?
This one was, I think, was a pretty easy one for us. I mean, we kind of hash things out every week. We kind of all get together in a little group on a Teams call or just over the phone or texting back and forth. And we're always kind of fueled by alcohol and analytics. So we're pretty good at coming together on these decisions every week. We rarely fight about it.
I'll tell you what, right now, that's a shirt.
Absolutely.
That's fun. We need to go to an AA meeting for sure.
We're putting it on the back of our meatball. So.
That's the AA meeting that I will go.
Yeah.
I love it.
I've got a question for everybody. We can start with Carson and Jimmy on this. A lot of weather implications this week. We're seeing winds potentially over 20 miles per hour, sustained winds in Chicago. I saw at the last minute that this Buffalo game is even going to potentially have a downpour, maybe. You can see the weather here on the screen as well. Cleveland Jets game, Saints Panthers game, gusts 25 miles per hour. That can certainly affect field goals and deep passes. Meatball Brothers, we'll start with you guys. Did the weather factor into your decision at all this week? Did you consider it?
I would say on this week, not really. It was more so just we weren't going to touch Carolina and we weren't going to touch Chicago. And, frankly, I would say if anything, weather probably would have if they were in the conversation. But I don't think it really played into our decision this week.
Gotcha. How about you, Mike? Same question with the weather.
I cut my teeth as a fantasy player, so I'm always dialed into, passing metrics and stuff like that. It's just, I try not to get too caught up in it, but if the weather does get intense, it just does add more variance. And, it adds it's hard to handicap those things because when you're looking at the math, you're looking at the metrics. I mean, what are you going to trust when you have all these different, other factors? And so it does creep in there. I try not to let it creep too much because it can sway you. And I know that they like to discuss weather a lot as it pertains to these games. And then, the games go off and you're like, I got bluffed here. But, at the end of the day, it may neutralize a team's advantage. Here, I think Chicago is going to be able to run the football a little bit better than their opponents. So if there is weather, maybe there is a slight edge to them, but you never know. I mean, that game, if the Giants go in and wreck that game right there, their defensive line, if they go in there and wreck Caleb Williams, I will not be surprised. I took the Giants in circa millions. I like that spot for the Giants plus 4.5. It's just a game that I don't want to be on in Survivor, to be honest.
And Derbify, former Circa Millions champion. Can you talk about how you look at weather just in general? Can it ever get you onto a team because you're like, oh, they got a better run game? Or does the variance just kind of scare you away, stay away situation for you?
Well, for the millions, the weather can actually get me on or off a game, depending on, how I feel about offensively or defensively, depending on the teams. But from a Survivor standpoint, the weather's usually going to get me off the situation. I kind of feel like I can afford to lose a Circa Millions, game. I can't afford to lose a Survivor game. So, you talk about the Chicago weather, you guys. I mean, this was a deep conversation for us all week, was possibly even looking into taking Chicago. And as soon as we saw the weather report and dug a little deeper, it was like, listen, this could be dirty and ugly, and that's the last kind of thing I need to be in right now, is a dirty, ugly game with this much on the line. And I mean, you look at that game deep, and it's going to get dirty and ugly, in my opinion. So, we talked to each other. We said, do we want to put ourselves through this or not? We do think the Bears might pull this out, but we didn't want to put ourselves through this. And with the variance of the weather, it was just like, no way. We had Seattle available indoors in a dome. We're not going to, they can close it, I guess. But, again, it was just not an option for us once the weather came up. It was more important to us on the Survivor, the weather, than it would have been for me in the millions, for sure.
Gotcha. So. Carson and Jimmy, give me some insight into how the Meatball Brothers watch games on Sunday. Are some of you together? Are you at a bar? Are you at home? Is there a group text going on? Give us some insight into your team.
There's always a group text going on. I'm in Chicago, but we got guys out in Detroit. One of our guys, Angelo, kind of floats back and forth between Florida and Chicago. Carson's up in Minnesota a lot, but he travels quite a bit for work. So a lot of times he's able to hang out with Colby or Paul. But we're always, the group chat's always going. It gets pretty, maybe rated R, I guess you would say. a lot of shit talking. We have a lot of fun on our group text. But we're half hungover.
Paul and I actually made it out to Circa last week, so we were hoping to have a clean sweep while we were there, but James was getting up close and personal when the Packers went down for us. But
yeah, it was brutal.
Carson and Jimmy, we have the same proxy, Dave Tooley. Great dude, huh?
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, Jimmy and Paul, Angela.
He's proud of you guys. So.
Yeah. We don't embarrass him too much.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many people were on Chicago this week. I mean, the weather. I'm in Chicago, so like the weather, it's coming down already now. Like it's windy, it's raining. It's it's not really.
Hell, we got our first snow of the year this year, but didn't stick,
already.
So.
Yeah, if that lake effect stuff kicks in, and you got two quarterbacks that are young and both went to school out in California, so it's, even though they're Chicago and New York, it's not, they're not really.
Yeah, good call. Jimmy, Carson got to answer this question the last time he came on, but can you just talk to us about how your life is different since you became a Circa Survivor champion?
Well, being a legend isn't easy, it's
love it.
Heroes die, but legends We're around forever, you know. But no,
I think we have
it's
to
been
win.
good.
I think we have to win again for legend status.
Yeah. We're already,
Nah,
we're
you're
working
already
on-
there. You're
we're
already
working
there.
on the
All
third
right,
year
all right.
already. But yeah, I mean, it's most people are happy for you. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's definitely. You look at the bank account and you're pretty happy with it, you know. But it's always that insatiable appetite, right, to keep going, and you get the haters that are kind of like, oh, it doesn't sound that hard. Well, here, look how many are left. You know, I mean, after 10 weeks or 9 weeks, you know, it's barely anyone left again. You know, not like last year. Last year there was so much carnage.
Well, we've already beat more people than last year. So
yeah, right, exactly.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I heard earlier this week there's more people left in the contest right now than were in the original Circa Survivor to start with. So that kind of puts it in context. We feel like, hey, we're 90% of the way through. I said earlier on the show, it's the halfway point. Now we still got a long way to go. I think everybody on this show knows that, but nice reminder to the folks out in the audience, we still got a long way to go. Meatball Brothers, Jimmy and Carson, thank you guys so much for donating some of your time to us tonight. We appreciate you. Best of luck.
Having a meatball for you guys. Haven't wanted to know.
Good luck, boys.
Amazing.
Alcohol and analytics.
Thanks for the new tagline. Good stuff,
we'll see you
fellas.
guys.
Thanks
Good
again.
luck, guys.
Thanks.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in Rachel Aria back on the show. Always great to have her.
Hey guys,
Rachel, how's it going tonight?
Hey.
it's going. It's going.
Hey, Rachel.
Glad to hear it. Love talking Circa Survivor with you. You're one of our favorite guests. I have to ask, if you were in Circa Survivor still, where would your entry be?
Getting right to it.
Yeah.
I was looking over it, and personally, I would go with the Panthers. I know they're the chalk, but I mean, we're getting down to the wire. There's 1,700 people left. That's still a lot, like you just said, but in the scheme of, compared to other years, it's down to the wire. We're week 10, and I don't know. I just, I would have already used the Bills, so they weren't an option for me. Colts weren't an option. Seahawks, I think they're just getting better and better.
Yeah.
And I think it's somebody that you need to save. So I would be on the Panthers this week for sure.
Yeah, good call of saving the Seahawks. Don't they have a matchup with the Titans week 14, maybe something like that? Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely. Rachel, you made a big headway on this show. Your first appearance, you had sort of your ranking system for quarterback sucking. So my question for you, now that you've seen 9 weeks of the season, who are your maybe top 2 or 3 quarterbacks or NFL players in general who suck the most?
I mean, we're still on Kyler Murray. He's always number one.
Okay.
He's forever number one. Number 2 is Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I mean, no explanation needed for any of these. Rattler's still up there. I don't know if he's number 3, but we can say that for now. He's coming to mind.
Rachel, where does Justin Fields land on it? I need to know that. Yeah.
He's
Where does
got to
he
be top
land?
5.
And
Come
you
on,
know,
top 5.
to validate this, the quarterbacks she's naming and the one that she named in in New Orleans early on, all 3 of those are not under center anymore. They're actually trying to ship Murray out. They put him on a fake IR. Okay, Russell Wilson's not starting. I don't even know if he's second on the depth chart. Maybe. Okay, the guy in New Orleans, he got benched. So every quarterback she named is no longer quarterbacking for those teams.
And I said them all from day one. I really
You
did.
You did.
If Jonathan Gannon had listened to one of our first couple shows when Rachel declared how much Kyler Murray sucked, they would have had Jacoby Brissett in there sooner, and the Cardinals might have a couple more wins by now.
For sure. For sure.
Right?
Just call me up.
Rachel, as you're watching this contest kind of from afar now, not being in it, can you talk about what you've learned this season, whether it's from watching the wonderful folks on this show or just your own experience, working your way through Circa Survivor? What can you take from this season and apply to next year?
Man, people take this so serious, and I know that there's millions on the line, but they're so serious. Like, you have to start stepping your game up. I feel like it's not just you can casually enter this contest anymore. Like, you need to really do your research. So that's probably something I took away from it. Like, it is fun. It's still fun, but I just think that you really have to plan ahead, thinking about now seeing how your whole plan comes together at the end later in the weeks. You just really do have to kind of have a game plan up front. Even looking at that now, I'm like, people need to start getting creative, because otherwise you're going to be splitting the winnings like 100 ways. I don't know how it's going to happen at this point, this late in the game, but somebody's got to get creative.
Hey, Rach, have you peeked at Survivor Sweat and looked at where the value of the entries are, or have you dabbled?
No, I know. I'm kind of out of it. The last 2 weeks I was under the weather, and we just moved into our new house, so we're just moving, and we haven't even been able to look at it.
All right. Well,
So, Rachel,
congrats on the move.
Thanks.
I heard you say, like, you realize people take this really serious. You have to put a lot into it. So what does that mean for you next year in Circa Survivor? Do you carve out a couple more hours in your week? Do you do something specifically different, or how might you approach it different next year?
Well, I said this on another show, but I'm definitely doing more entries. So take all my money, take more money, because now I know what I'm doing. And I mean, I don't know, even just going through the weeks ahead, if you have 5 different teams, I think I would like walk myself through a mock of the entire season of what you could do. And I know things change, obviously, but I think I would do something more like that, like try to plan an entire season out, see how it could go, and then work from there with the different teams doing different things.
I like it. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. I asked you your least favorite players. Who do you like? Who doesn't suck on Rachel's list?
I don't even know right now. I honestly didn't really get to watch this last week. I don't know. I'm just going to go with the Seahawks altogether. I think that they're
playing
looking
well.
good, and they're getting better and better.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's playing really well. Guys, I had a crazy thought. Is it possible we have a Daniel Jones versus Sam Darnold Super Bowl this year?
Oh man. I saw you post that. It's a possibility.
Like, those guys aren't clutch, so it's hard to imagine like them taking down Mahomes or Hurts. But they're 2 of the best teams in the NFL. It's absolutely possible. We deserve better, though, right?
We do deserve better. They are very good teams, though. Very good teams all around. So
Yeah.
could see them. Could.
Yeah. I'll ask all 3 of you guys this question. Where will you rank Seattle right now in terms of what number team they are in the league, in terms of, obviously number 1 being the best? Let's start with you, Mike. Where do you rank Seattle?
Yeah, for me, Seattle's in the top 6. I got them on the cusp of between 4 and 6 in my power rankings. And obviously playing it when they play at home, they're on the top tier of that. But overall, just a great team. I mean, they got great skill players. I like their coaching staff. Their defense is getting better and better. Darnold's really just, airing it out. He's really he's fitting in that offense. They got 2 running backs, so they have depth there. I like them going out and getting Shaheed from New Orleans.
Yeah.
I like the Horton guy. I mean, he's spiking. I know he might not play this week, but I think they have a really, really good football team. And depending on if they can stay healthy or not, they're going to give some people some fits for sure. And it starts at the top. It starts at McDonald. It starts in that I like it. And I know Tony was early on them last year. I think you made a futures bet on them last year. Man, I thought you were maybe a tick early, but you were right on. I mean, this team they're going to be right in the thick of things.
Rachel, Mike says top 6. Where do you rank Seattle?
Yeah, I'm going to say like 4, maybe. I think they're capable of beating any NFC team. And also, you know why I like Sam Darnold? He was a Viking, and I'm a Vikings girl. And I feel like Seattle always takes Vikings. And maybe I'm just hyper-focused on it, but I remember back when they took Percy Harvin. There's just been like a million good Vikings that go to Seattle, so they're kind of just another team I also root for. But I would say, yeah, definitely in the top. We'll see, but they're in the top.
Good stuff. How about you, Durbify? Where do you rank Seattle?
I got them at 5, man. Yeah, I do. Listen, dude, McDonald's, his military-ish approach that he has with his team, and they are on board. And I know that, that entire roster is on board. And so, they're winning right now. They're showing it on the field. And I think it's going to keep on going, in my opinion, man. I have them in futures this year as well.
Nice.
Last year I was a little early and they managed to get there. But now I think you're really seeing what I thought I was going to see last year.
Nice. And it seems like they got rid of Geno Smith at the right time because he's struggling a bit with Las Vegas for sure. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time tonight. Hopefully we see you soon back on Saturday Night Sweat. Take care.
Yes, you too. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Bye, Rachel.
All right, I think we've got James Sullivan. Welcome back to Saturday Night Sweat. How you doing over there, brother?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. We love having you on the show because you give us the marketplace update. It's always intriguing to see how sales are going. So was this a busy week for you guys?
So it was an interesting week. I said last week on the show, I said it's going to be really interesting to see how people handle going into this week 10. They actually, the supply was greater than the demand this week. And so sales were, I don't want to say down, but they just weren't as high as they had. We had obviously had record-setting weeks the previous couple of weeks. So this week, it was an interesting week. I think a lot of the buyers, maybe were sitting on the sidelines waiting to see what happens this week. And then, waiting possibly to buy in going into week 11. So the price per entry, though, stayed the same. They were selling for about 1.8 times the EV. So that stayed pretty consistent from the week before. And then the only thing, there was a couple Grandissimo sales, and those are selling slightly under the EV. Those are selling at about 92 cents on the dollar right now for Grandissimo shares. So all in all, a good week, but it was interesting to see how people were kind of, I think a little hesitant going into this week.
James, I saw a question earlier on Twitter this week. I shared it with you. Someone had a question about how exactly does this work? If I buy 20% of an entry, it's in someone else's name. How does that work if we end up winning? Can you kind of walk us through that process, whether you're a buyer or a seller in the marketplace?
Yeah. So, first of all, a lot of these entries are owned by multiple people to begin with. It's a group of buddies or whatnot that own shares, especially obviously in the Grandissimo. The Grandissimos are for sure made up of groups of people. So at the end, there's paperwork and there's forms that are filled out. And there's this IRS form that's filled out, and it basically specifies on that form each shareholder that owns a piece of the entry. Okay, so that form gets submitted to Circa, and then Circa basically pays out each party directly. So the interesting and the great part about the marketplace is you don't have to collect from a third party. You can collect from Circa directly. They issue you a tax form. You're going to get a 1099 at the end. But if your name's on that form, you own 5%, get submitted to Circa, you collect your money directly from Circa. Obviously, there's contracts involved here in the marketplace when you buy or sell shares. There's contracts between the parties, binding the parties to the sale.
Good stuff. All right, I have a question, and I want to, Tony and Mike, feel free to chime in as well. Especially if I'm putting you in an awkward situation, James, being a proxy. But one of the questions I get the most that I don't have an answer to is about tipping proxies if you win this contest. So again, if this is awkward for you, James, it's like asking your waitress how much you should tip them. Feel free to sit this one out or contribute. But can anybody just give me – I have no clue. And I haven't heard anything. I've asked a million people. It's almost taboo to talk about. Talk to me about tipping culture with Circa Survivor. Anybody?
I'll speak up. Oh, go ahead. No, you go, James.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, Mike's former chair. You guys go ahead.
Okay. Typically, when you win 6 figures or more, it's a 3 to 5% type look, right? And if you really like your proxy, if he's, a close guy to, say, a friend of yours, you can get up to whatever you want, up to 10%, 15% if you wanted. But obviously, that's somebody close to you. I think, for me, someone like 7 figures, when you're tipping somebody 5% of your 7 figures, they're getting a nice paycheck, right? And they're pretty happy with that. But, I think if you're getting a sub 6 figures, you need to look more towards the 8 to 10% for the work that they do. They're the reason that we're here. They're the reason that we win. They're the reason that we make it that far. And without them, we wouldn't even do it. So, right? I mean, I believe there's got to be 80% of the field that uses proxies by now, if I was to guess, if not more. So, I mean, they are essential to us on these contests. So, thank you, James, by the way.
Yeah, Tony, I wish I was your proxy.
Sounds like Tony might be on a little more generous side of things, perhaps.
Okay.
I mean, he's 100% right. It varies. I mean, listen, it's just speaking from experience, it's typically in the 3 to 5% range is where it lands. But it of course varies, like you mentioned, if it's a huge score versus a smaller score. It definitely varies. But that's kind of where it tends to land.
And then,
go
ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, Tony's spot on. That's usually in the range. The year we won in 22, we didn't have these platforms. We had nothing. And we were out there in the Twitter universe and trying to find people to find out if we could put a deal together. And James's group helped us find a third party who was still in the contest and put this whole dang thing. We were able to put a save together and then play for the remaining balance. And we were kind of trailblazers out there. They helped us with the paperwork. They helped us with the logistics of it all and kind of the birth of how this thing started. And not only did we tip our proxies or the people, they weren't officially our proxies. They helped us put the deal together and they helped us find. We tipped them. We took care of them. We took care of the legal team that helped us along the way. We also took care of Jeff Benson and the people at Circa. We're just ever so grateful to be in that position to do so. And these are people that we want to do business with and we want to be in front of moving forward. You take care of good people, people take care of you. And so that's the tipping culture. We're from Las Vegas. I'm from Las Vegas, been here for the last 25 years. And it's well known, you take care of people, they take care of you. And so it is truly subjective to the dollar amount and the people that you're dealing with, but it always comes back to you in the end. So the people that are out there taking care of you, just take care of them.
Gotcha. All right. Very good. And then one more question on this topic, and I appreciate you guys humoring me here. Does the tipping typically take place like, hey, I'm going to tip you and I'm going to have Circa pay you directly, or is it typically after the fact? Like after I get paid, then you don't have to worry about the taxes, or can you do it both ways, or what's typical?
You could do it both ways. It's always been after the fact that I've seen, but you could, I guess if you wanted to, you could have Circa pay you, but it's typically done after the fact.
Gotcha.
Circa will pay whoever you tell them to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever has that ticket, because I see a lot of people out there in the Twitter universe that discuss, like the heebie-jeebies of making these deals. But when you have the paperwork and you go there and you break it down, I mean, James, they do a great job. My partner, Russ, he put together the original paperwork and the spreadsheet. We went down there. We had it just perfectly laid out for them. And they'll pay whoever you want them to pay, whether it's your proxy or in our case, you want to do it after the fact.
Good stuff there for sure.
And I could say, Tony, if going on that, if you did let Jeffrey Benson take care of you, you are limiting your liability on taxes too with that tip. It just takes care of that for you. So, any money that you do give to your proxy as a tip, obviously if Jeff took care of that, you would have no tax liability on that. It's up to the proxy from there, right? So.
Gotcha. Good stuff. All right, James, back to the marketplace. What was the highest valuation that you guys sold this week?
There was, let's see here. There was one that was sold for $25,000 this week. Was the high point this week. And it was an entry that did end up taking the Broncos. But it was $25,000 was the high point this week.
Was it before or after the Broncos win?
It was actually Thursday morning. It was going into the Broncos game. So it was before the game, but it's always interesting because there's we've got a deadline here to close the deal, to fund the deal. Obviously once kickoff starts, we would have had to avoid that deal. But it happened before.
Gotcha. Okay. And was the buyer aware that they were going this pick was going on Broncos, or did they buy it with pick control?
No. They bought the pick control. They're the ones that submitted. Yeah, they
Okay.
wanted the entry to play the Broncos. So
Sounds like somebody really liked Denver Thursday night.
Someone really, and they had a hell of a sweat. They had a $25,000 sweat on that game with 10 first downs or whatever it was. But yeah,
I would like to say they got their money's worth, but I think they lost a year of their life.
Yeah. But hey, that's got to feel good. Buying in, you nail it within 24 hours on Thursday. Now you can just sit back and root for carnage and watch your value go up. And then, hey, if he wants, he can go ahead and turn it around and sell it on the marketplace next week if he wants to, right?
I always tell everyone the best part about it is not only the sweat, but the anti-sweat. So they got a hell of an anti-sweat coming for tomorrow, rooting against all those teams. So.
Absolutely. James, I've done this a couple times in the past with you. For people that are tuning in for the first time and maybe learning about the marketplace for the first time, can you give us a quick little 1 minute just review? If someone's like, what the heck are they talking about? You can sell an entry? I never heard of that. How does it work?
Yeah, so you own the entry. It's like an asset. You can sell shares of your entry. So the marketplace facilitates those transactions. You can sell anywhere between 1% up to 99% of your entry. If you sell, the majority, you keep, you give up pick control, and there's a process in transferring pick control to the buyer. But you could also just sell minority shares. There's actually one entry. It's really interesting. He's sold 6 different times. He actually owns a minority share of the entry, but has the pick control, because he sold so many different shares in 10% quantities. So he's a minority owner himself, but kept the pick control for the entry. So you dictate, what you want in your listing, whether you're giving up pick control, keeping it, however you're doing it. But the marketplace handles all those transactions. There's a contract involved, facilitating all those deals between parties.
Good stuff. And as you're sort of the logistics guy, kind of coordinating all this stuff, is there any information that you wish more buyers and sellers knew that we can sort of equip them with tonight? Any sort of FYIs or anything like that you can share?
No, I mean, listen, I always tell people like the proxy is probably one of the biggest things that people look at, to be honest with you, in the marketplace, because if it's listed as like other proxy, then it's a tricky process when it's a third party that's submitting the picks. And like I say, people get spooked out because up until a week and a half ago, there was 5-6 no picks every week. So one of the big things that everyone looks at in the marketplace is there a proxy attached to the entry, and how am I going to submit this pick? They're clearly buying the entry from out of state in most cases, so they need someone who actually is going to submit the pick for them. So it is an important thing. The proxies, we mention this every week, play a crucial role in getting the pick submitted every week.
Gotcha. James, I haven't done this with you yet. I want to ask you for a prediction this week. Do you think it's going to be a carnage-filled week? We're going to see a lot of people knocked out, or do you think it's going to be smooth sailing?
I mean, listen, it's seeing the Panthers at the top. I didn't think I'd ever see a day where the Panthers were at the top of a Survivor pick sheet. So, I mean, listen, I would predict some carnage tomorrow. I mean, it's spread out so much. I mean, there's people that, I looked at the sheet that are taking underdogs tomorrow. I mean, there's a couple on the Jets tomorrow as a dog. So we're in week 10 and there's people on dogs. So I would say there's going to be some carnage tomorrow.
Gotcha. Same question for you, Mike. What are your expectations?
All right. Well, let me spit some math out at you here.
All right.
So if you're just using the Bills, Panthers, or Seahawks as an example, okay, there's a 53.3% chance that one of those teams will go down. 12.4% 2 will go down. If you want to bring in the Bears into the equation, 67.3% one of those teams will go down.
Good stuff. Good. And for people that don't know, Mike, I assume you're using money lines converted to win probability. That's how you got there, right?
That's correct.
Good stuff. Good stuff. How about you, Derbify? Thoughts?
Yes, definitely some carnage tomorrow. Just sloppy games, sloppy teams, a lot of mediocre teams playing bad teams, and this is kind of when people get caught up in it. They see these teams fit their profile with their path, and I think that they're going to end up getting bit by it a little bit. Yeah.
And Derbify, who's that team? If you had to guess, who's going to be the highest owned team that gets knocked out? Is it Carolina or a little further down the board? Oh,
he's going silent because he's hoping he doesn't want to say Seahawks.
we might have lost the audio. Go ahead again, Derbify, one more time. Who do you think is going to be that number one most owned team to go? Did you hit mute maybe perhaps by accident? We don't hear you. No, it's not that. While you get your audio situated, James, I'll ask you the same question. Who do you think's the most likely team to go down?
Well, I was actually gonna say the Seahawks. I mean, I think the Cardinals are playing very good. New quarterback, new energy. Marvin Harrison looked fantastic last week. So I would say the Seahawks.
Seattle goes down to Arizona. That would be an interesting one for sure. Mike, how many people do you think are going to be left in this thing at the very end? What would you set the over-under at?
Oh, man. So, I mean, when I break down the math and I see who's going to go down, like, it's most likely going to be the 27% that goes down because they're the 5.5-point favorite as opposed to, well, I mean, you can add the Bears in there. They're 4.5, give or take. So you're looking at, I mean, you could see up to 35%. You could see 15%. So, it just all depends, on which one goes down. So you're going, in my opinion, we're losing a minimum of 15%. We could lose 35%.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Testing 1, 2. You all right over there, Derbify?
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
Oh, you sound even better than you did before. That's perfect.
Perfect.
James, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Thanks so much for coming on. We look forward to your marketplace report next week as well, brother.
All right, guys. Good luck this weekend.
All right.
Thanks, James. Have a good one, bud.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. I said we had a star-studded show tonight. We're going to go ahead and bring in Paulie Howard from VSiN's Follow the Money. Paulie, welcome back on the show, brother. How you doing, man?
Good. All right. How are you?
Oh, doing good, man. I've got questions that I've just been dying to ask you, so I'm so glad you're here tonight. I'm going to get right into it. I want to know how you feel about this Packers team because they beat the Lions week 1 by 14 points. They beat the Steelers by 10 points, and they lose to the Browns and the Panthers last week. So where's your head at with how you feel about this Packers team?
They're the Broncos of the NFC. They play down to their level of competition. I mean, you blow the Cleveland game. I know some people think they're this year's Cincinnati. They've had 3 different examples and instances where they're killing people in Survivor. The Browns debacle. I had them a couple entries in that bullshit Dallas tie where they scored 40 points and couldn't get a stop. The Carolina nightmare, between LaFleur and Jordan Love doing something stupid a couple times a game. But if I know the NFL, they'll win Monday night. And they'll bounce back, and you might get a good performance on offense. But I'm not ready to say they're total frauds and unoverrated, but I still think there's a lot of talent on that team, and especially on the offensive side of the ball. They got to do a better job taking the ball away and get more pressures, and I think they can dial up more blitzes. But the other thing is McManus is hurt. I don't know why he's out there. I mean, they rushed him back. The substitute teacher didn't miss a kick and hit from 61. And McManus has missed a couple of kicks now and killed them. So, there are a lot of things here. Special teams, can't disrespect your opponent. But I think they win Monday night, and I still think they're going to be a problem come January.
Talk to me about how you feel about Bo Nix, because I see a guy with happy feet. I see a guy who's making his receivers work too hard to make catches. Yeah. And I remember a report. I talked about this on my show, Last Men Standing, before week 1. There was a report. I don't remember who, but it was a former Broncos player who was at training camp, and he was saying that Trevor Siemian looked better than Bo Nix all training camp long. And I remember thinking, come on, no way. Now I'm like, maybe there's something to that. Like, how do you feel personally about Bo Nix?
I think he's up and down. I think Sean Payton is doing a horrible job this year play calling.
Oh.
That 3rd and 1 play was so stupid on Thursday, compounded by a 59-yard field goal and 35-mile-per-hour winds that I don't know would have been good, as Mitch said, I don't know if it would have been good from 45. He's doing a lot of stupid stuff. Dobbins got a good rushing attack. He got away from the run against the Raiders. Nix has got a hot dog arm, too. The wind was clearly a problem. They should do a better job of spreading the ball out, but, the defense is so nasty, it might be like the year they won it with Peyton Manning. That the defense is so good, and all they have to do is score 20 points. This Houdini act has got to come to an end, though. They're 4-0 in games they've trailed entering the fourth quarter. They look at the opponent's record that they beat as well.
Yeah.
But I think the positive is that they are at their best when they play good teams. I mean, again, they're like Green Bay. They almost lost to the Jets. They almost lost to the Titans. They almost lost to the Raiders. They should have lost to the Giants. They just have to do a better job of respecting their opponent and bringing it week in, week out. So I still think they're going to get the 1 seed because the schedule's so easy. But everyone's probably going to pick against them in January because of Knicks. But I just think that the defense is so good that they'll be able to win these low-scoring games. And, what was the stat? They have more sacks right now than 20-some teams did last year. I mean, it's stupid what's going on defensively. So he's got to get better, but I also think Peyton has got to put him in a better position, and the play calling's been horrendous.
Paulie, I want to ask you about the Cowboys, because if someone gave me a crystal ball and said, hey, Tony, I'll give you the outcome of one of these games in Circa Survivor for the rest of the year, it might be the Washington-Dallas Christmas game that I'm the most curious about, and I'd like the most help in. This Dallas team, they get 2 guys at the trade deadline. They lose a player tragically, and I don't want to make light of that death of Nealand for the Cowboys, but we are a strategy show, so that does have implications on this contest. I could see the Cowboys rallying around that, and then I could also see the grief destroying this locker room. Over under on the Cowboys season win total is 6.5. Would you take the over or under?
I got a punt on the question. I don't know. I don't know the record that well. I'll tell you, I love the Raiders. Justin win under. The Raiders are 4.5 right now. They're not going to go over that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a dumpster fire with the Raiders. And also the Christmas game. I have no idea how that's going to play out. Yeah. Who's going to be healthy? Do they even bother with Daniels at that point? I don't. That's too far down the long ride. But I think the Cowboys beat the Raiders Monday night, and then we'll see what these new pieces look like on defense with what Jerry did. I thought it was hilarious. We had a bookmaker on, and we have him make a price. The odds that the Cowboys would make an NFC title game in Jerry's lifetime. And he said 12-1. He went life expectancy.
Wow.
He's 83 years old, figures to live till 89 or 90. Could be generous. And he makes it 12-1. They make it 30 years without an NFC title game. How fans show up there still.
So we're going 7 more.
Hey, we just put that out there. That might pop up on Kalshi in the next couple of days. Don't be surprised. Something like that.
Can I ask Mike a question?
Yeah, please do.
Can Mike repeat for people who are listening as a previous winner, if you're 4 of the people in Grandissimo who are already home, the 4 Denver people, can you elaborate and go into detail about strategy? How about tomorrow you must be ready to win and have your game plan ready to go? If you could talk about that, please.
Yeah, I mean, so being ready to win is, having your hedge number and knowing the team and Denver winning and being on Denver, if I was on Denver, causes a little bit of problems because Buffalo, there's 4 on Buffalo. They do go at the 10 a.m. window. So I'm going to be focused on that game specifically, and then I'll know where I'm going to land after that one. But if they go down and the Bears go down, the Panthers go down, it's us 4 Broncos and a Seahawk in the 1 o'clock window. So that's going to help me, and you have to pre-plan and game plan specifically as to if 1 team goes down, 2 teams go down, 3 teams go down, and what is your hedge number and what are you willing to go at that point? Mm-hmm. I don't want to make a decision after the fact. So I want to plan ahead and I want to know where I'm going to be. So if I'm Tony Gordon and Denver and it pops up and Denver 4 goes down, I am dialed in as to exactly what's going to happen if the Bills go down. There is going to be a price and a number, and I'm either going to have that credit lined up at Circa. I'm going to have that money loaded up into my account, or I'm going to be there with a truck and we're going to back up and we're going to have that right price and that number. And I have a couple of guys in my team that are phenomenal at doing the pricing of this. And so we're just going to be ready to act. We're just not going to be caught off guard on a, you know what I mean? And so we have to have that. We have to be prepared to win.
Yeah, very good. Derbify could have answered that too, I guess, as well. But the other thing is I'm fascinated by the differences between Grandissimo and the Westgate contest, which I know the Westgate doesn't have the Thanksgiving and Christmas, but 16 left, 5 Bears, 4 Bills, 4 Carolina, 1 Denver, 1 Lions, 1 Seattle. And then in Grandissimo, you went 4 Denver, 4 Bills. Someone has Detroit left and they didn't use them, which surprised me. 1 Carolina, 1 Chicago, 1 Seattle. I thought that was interesting. 11 left. The differences were you only had 1 Chicago go in Grandissimo, but 5 took the Bears in the Westgate.
I wonder if there's anybody out there in both.
That's
Or has a piece of Grandissimo and is also in Westgate.
Yeah, I would think, that could be possible. Damn right. Sure.
You know,
absolutely.
Maybe you're spreading your risk a little bit, you know.
We had a group partner that had a piece, but he's no longer with us anymore. But I'm not sure what's going on over there. Yeah. You know, hey Paulie, on your hedging question, you know, we are fully ready to go.
Shoot, we lost we lost your audio again, Derbify.
The other thing too, 15 teams used again in Circa Survivor. I'm stunned by that. Thank God everyone got the picks in, but 15 teams used, and you had this might have been an option. Someone is on the Browns and the Jets.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they just went on both sides there. But there's a Browns, there's a Jets, there's a Jacksonville. Incredible. 1769 left, and 15 teams were used. I'm
Do you have me?
Yep, we got you now, Derbify.
Okay, that'll work.
You can go ahead and follow up. I think you were talking about hedging.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. That I got
worries.
cut off. We are very ready to go after the Bills. You know, 10 o'clock a.m. We are on Seattle, so that's a 1:15, I believe, game. So you know, we're hoping to have you know, obviously some information before the end of the game. But if we can't, we have a 15-minute window where we are ready to do what we need to do if there is a deletion of the Bills this week, right? So
Gotcha. Yeah. And Paul, you brought up this idea of the option. I can confirm right now, I'm on Survivor Atlas. There's an entry called, I can't pronounce it, Nostra Cropis. I think it's a pun off of Nostradamus. He does have 1 Cleveland and he has 1 Jets.
Okay.
So I can confirm that for sure.
Wow.
Another thing I saw that I thought was interesting on Atlas, there's 2 people left that have 10 entries left in Circa Survivor. One of them's all in on the Bears.
What? Say that again?
There's 2 people left, only 2 left that have 10 entries left.
Get out of here.
Survivor, and the one guy is all in with 10 on Chicago.
Onions.
Yep. And who knows? Maybe he's part of a bigger group and he's got other entries, but that does take a lot of stones for sure.
That is great. That is
and
great.
if you're wondering about the other one, they went half Carolina, half Buffalo on that one with the other 10.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That is great information. I didn't know that. That is phenomenal.
They're going to be sweating tomorrow. It's going to be fun to
doubt.
watch. The final 2 people with 10 left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be intriguing to see.
Incredible.
Paul, if you were still alive in Circa Survivor, where do you think you'd land this week, man?
You're saying I don't have the big 3 available?
Yeah, let's do it both ways. First of all, who do you like out of the big 3? And then if you didn't have the big 3, where would you land?
Well, I can understand why Carolina scares people. They've lost 10 straight games as a favorite. That's incredible. They haven't won a game as a favorite in 4 years.
Yeah.
So I know it's a different team, and they've been underdog in every game. They're 5-4. This is nuts. But the Saints are just atrocious, and I like Carolina first quarter, by the way. We talk about this every time I'm on. The Saints have been outscored 75-16 in the first quarter. Dowdle should just run all over them. Maybe they force some turnovers, but I still would be why it gives me pause, and people pause it. They've lost 10 in a row as a favorite. I think the Bears should run wild on the Giants. The Giants' run defense sucks. It's so bad. And they've allowed 450 yards rushing the last couple games. They allowed, 38 and 33 points, whatever it is, the last couple games. They can't stop anything. especially the running game. And here comes Swift and Monungai after what they did. So Dart's always down weapons, and so many guys are hurt. I mean, it's going to Robinson, and that's basically all he has. He'll probably go over his rushing yard prop again that he does every single game. But I just think the Bears should be able to move it at will here. And the Bears, it's a very important game for the Bears because this is where the schedule gets tough now the rest of the way. So if you're thinking playoffs and you've won 5 of 6 and you get this one, you're thinking playoffs, and you never know. You could sneak in there, even though with this bad defense, all the injuries in their special teams blows. But I just think it's just line it up and run all over them. And it should be an easy game for Caleb Williams.
Absolutely. A question for all three of you guys. Selfish question here. So I had 2 entries left. I had the Bills available. I took the Bills on 1. And last minute, I pulled the Bills off of 1 and I went Rams. I'm trying to get a little diversity down the road that I could potentially use Buffalo later. Am I going to regret that tomorrow? We'll start with you, Derbify.
You know what, Tony? I like it, buddy. This is a big revenge spot right here for the Rams after that Thursday night upset game. And I think McVay is extremely motivated to get some payback from that game. The Niners are beat up offensively, and I think this is one of those games. I mean, they tend to play really tight games. Historically, these two teams. But I do think that you're in a good spot with the Rams. This is a game they want to win. This is a game they need to win, and to stay in the division. And gosh, those two guys hate each other, and McVay definitely wants this one this week.
Yeah, the line movement from 4.5 to 6 gave me a little bit more confidence, but I am a little worried about that Rams kicker. First time kicking in the NFL. That
no,
a little nervous.
No, bullshit. No way. Thicker kicker? No way.
Yes. I shouldn't be nervous. I shouldn't be nervous.
Cardi sucked. No, this guy with the front porch, the 200.
All right.
Yeah, no way, man.
No,
Paulie, I feel better already. Better already. Thank you.
Cardi,
he's going to be in the AA meetings with us. So
yes, he's a big fella. Yeah, you won't. I don't think you'll regret it. The revenge angle. You're right. I think they're the best team in the league. They could be undefeated. Stafford playing at MVP level. His stats are sick. I think they'll be able to throw on this 49er defense, and they won't put a lot of pressure on Stafford. And maybe they turn over Mac Jones too. So I don't think the Rams will lose.
All right, Mike's awfully quiet over there. I think he wants to be polite.
Oh. Well, no. Well, first off, I'm on the record as the Rams being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl.
There we go. Okay.
And I made that preseason. 2, I kind of vomited in my mouth because they lost me my Grandissimo entry against the Niners the very first time. That said, the way that I play this contest, I would need to know what other teams available, because having the Rams with 12% less in week 13B at Carolina would be a great spot. So I would need to see the run out of the teams. I do like the Rams this week for sure. We did take them on a circa millions entry as well. The line movement was it was kind of odd there. That said, again, I would just need to see the run out of it. But I am a Rams backer, and I think they're going to find themselves very deep in the NFC playoffs this year. And I'm actually really excited as a fan to see how Seattle and the Rams line up later on in the year.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that, guys. I feel better already. Derbif, I had a question for you. I don't know if you saw the selection show earlier tonight, but you got a little shout out from Derek Stevens. He pointed out that you have the record right now for best circa millions record by win percentage, but a fella named Potato Commish is currently ahead of pace to potentially beat your record. How are you feeling about that? Is that something where you kind of, like an NFL player wants to keep their record? Are you okay with losing that if it happens? Where are your emotions at with that?
Well, I think we all got an ego when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, I want to hold on to it, of course. But Potato Commish, he's been a friend of mine on social media for a couple of years. So, congratulations to him. What a run. And proud to have fellow friends that are making these kind of runs. But we're halfway through the season, so I don't think we want to give him too much credit yet. This is a tough run staying at 70%. I know he's at 77. Listen, I had the run of my life, and that's what it's going to take to get 70%. I think we all know this sitting here. And you'll see it again. I know we'll see it again, but it's going to be the run of somebody's life. And with these fields getting bigger and bigger, we're probably guaranteed to see it again from somebody. But I'm going to hold on to it as long as I can and grasp it. The Mad Russian and I, we text each other all the time, trying to keep up on this. And every year on week 18, we go, whoo, we did it again. Yes. Right. So, 70% is a tough feat, man. Yeah.
I have a story real quick about the Potato Commish. I met him at Circa maybe 7 or 8 weeks ago. Really nice guy, and had exchanged Twitter DMs with him. And he's like, hey, I'm sitting right behind you. I was in the recliners. He's like, I'm sitting right behind you. I was like, all right, well, I'll go meet you at halftime. Right. So I don't know what the guy looks like at this point because he just has like the logo on his Twitter thing. Right. So I'm just like, I go up to the first guy I see. He's sitting down at the table. I say, hey, are you the Potato Commish? I didn't even know his first name at the time. The guy says, yeah. So I sit down with the guy, and he's got a stack of chips like this. And he grabs them as if he was like afraid that I was going to take his chips. I was like, wow, that was kind of aggressive. And so I sit down with him. I finally get to meet the Potato Commish. I'm like, so, how's your night going? I said something like that. And he goes, I'm in the middle of a business meeting. I was like, dude, this is weird, man. I just got an invite to go talk to you 10 minutes ago. So I go sit back down on my seat. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Well, 2 minutes later, the real Potato Commish comes up. He's like, Tony, how's it going? How's it going? So the guy must have not heard me say, or he must have heard something else when I said, are you the Potato Commish? Because he said, yes. It was very jovial at first. I don't know what he thought I said, but some guy out there thinks I tried to steal his chips, and so it was a misunderstanding. Anyways, back to Week 10 action, guys. I know that only 2% of people had the Colts available for tomorrow, so this doesn't pertain to many people. But I do want to get people's reactions real quick on this Colts game because can we pull up the numbers here? I want to see how many people ended up on the Colts. I know 35 had them available. 13 people ended up on the Colts. I feel like with a couple of those guys in that Colts defensive line going down, I'm a little worried about them. I think the Falcons could be live for an upset tomorrow. Does anybody agree with me?
No.
You like the Colts in that game?
Yeah.
Just running all over him, you think?
Yeah. I don't know how much luck Penix is going to have, and I think they'll respond. I mean, they lost by 7 points and had 6 turnovers. So
yeah.
I think Steichen and they'll bounce back, and their offense is too good. Plus, I don't trust Atlanta away from home.
Yeah, good point. Derbyfire, Mike, thoughts on that one?
I personally think there's more value in saving the Colts for 13B or 17B, especially with the low ownership. I'm not taking the Colts in that spot this early, and being across the pond in unfamiliar territory. I might be a sucker, but I took the 6 and a hook with Atlanta. I do think Atlanta has a high ceiling. They also have a floor that could just drop out at any minute. Yeah. So if Atlanta wins that game tomorrow, I am not surprised. If Atlanta gets blown out, I'm not surprised. But I did take the value. I did take the points there in Circa Millions. But if I have Colts in my pocket, man, with 2% ownership, by the time that I could deploy them in 13B and 17B, I'm holding them.
All right, you're the tiebreaker, Derbyfy. Mike's with me. Paulie's not. How do you feel about the Colts tomorrow?
Well, to Mike's point in the Survivor, I think these guys got a little cute, taking the Colts, because I'm sure they had other options, and I think they thought they were probably going to go try to be on an island somewhere, and watch some carnage this weekend. But I think that I don't know if they'll regret it, but I do think that this travel over across the pond really does change the outlook of both teams, in my opinion. I do think this Colts team, because of the camaraderie and Shane Steichen and the way he gets them ready, they're going to travel much better than an Atlanta team that kind of seems like they're up and down. Now, with that being said, I do think Atlanta keeps it close and probably covers that 6.5, but the Colts are just too much. They'll hold for it across the pond, and I think that their coach is going to have them ready to at least get a W. It may come down to to a late cover by Atlanta, but I think the Colts will have that. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. I think we've done all that we can. Thank you guys all so much for your time, especially Derbify and Paulie coming on this show. We really appreciate you guys. Best of luck to everybody tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Should be a fun game of football.
Thank you, you too, Tony.
Enjoy
Thanks
week
for having
10, everybody.
me. Yeah, appreciate it.
Good luck, everybody.